Well, hello there, and welcome to Real Reviews, friends. My name is Jameson Rabbit. This gentleman sitting next to me has a tattoo of Big Bird on his back, and his name is Mike Roth.
Eventually, it's going to be a complete piece.
Yeah?
Yeah, of all the Sesame Street characters except for Mr. Hooper.
Can you tell me where to get this?
Yes, there's this guy that hangs out in the back alley over by work.
Ooh!
And he's surprisingly cheap.
Yeah?
Yeah.
This is good. I can't wait to see the finished product.
I think his name is Guy, by the way.
I think maybe our last episode, we'll do the big reveal.
That would be sweet.
Who knows when that's going to be? Could be next week, could be 10 years from now.
Oh,
better get a hurry on that.
If it's next week, can you let me know?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Double up on those sessions. This week we've got a few movies on the marquee to discuss, and a really fun throwback that I'm looking forward to. But first, we've got to get into these movies.
All right.
And this week, I'm going to give a disclaimer real quick. This week, it felt like work to watch some movies. We have had a nice little run of having some decent movies, and this week it was. I almost walked out on one of these.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm curious on which one.
Well, we'll see in a minute. I'll let you know at the end. You can guess.
Oh, I bet I could guess. I already guessed.
You
It's
can
in
guess
my
for
head.
my scores.
Okay.
Those will be a good indication. But
I bet I know what it is.
yeah.
Yep.
Think so?
I think it's that one.
Well, we'll see. The first movie we have on the marquee is the newest movie from Matt Damon. The movie is The Great Wall. From director Yimon Zhang. Matt Damon stars as a man named William. He and his partner, Tover, played by Pedro Pascal, they're mercenaries that are in search of black powder. This is some ancient China time, and the Chinese have the only black powder available. So they, like many others before them, have traveled throughout the world in search of this. They arrive in China, and they are turned away by this great wall that is in front of them.
I love the tagline. They just showed it up here. It's like, what were they hiding?
Yeah.
And everybody who's graduated grade school knows exactly why the wall was built, but I'm sorry.
No, we find out in this movie why the wall was built, because there's monsters that attack the wall. And luckily, Matt Damon and his terrible accent are there to help repel these monsters. These monsters are these lizard-like monsters that are, they look like crappy CGI.
Oh, yeah.
Really bad CGI.
You got that.
And they attack the wall. They have the queen sends the signals, and they attack, and you get some attack sequences that remind me of World War Z, that scene where the zombies are piling up on top of each other to get over a wall, and it looks like a bad computer game graphic. That's what we get in this.
Yeah.
I was shocked by how bad the CGI looked in this movie, because we didn't get a lot of it in the trailers, and that started to worry me. Like, you're not showing me very much.
Yeah.
What are you hiding? Like you say, we don't know. Oh, now we know what they were hiding.
I think it's par with other people's bad CGI. Like World of Warcraft when it came out.
Yeah.
That wasn't that great either. That was actually really bad also.
I want to talk real quickly, though, about Matt Damon's choice of accent in this movie.
That's a good start.
I was thrown immediately by it. It felt to me like someone who was trying to sound out dialogue phonetically and had no common use of the English language, because he spoke. I can't even do it. It was this weird accent of like, I'm trying to figure out where you're supposed to be from. Like, I am William. I'm here to save the wall.
Well, I don't think you could figure it out because it changed up every once in a while.
And sometimes it was just Matt Damon voice.
Yes, sometimes it was just Matt Damon. At times it sounded a little bit Irish. The only thing I was positive he wasn't was Spanish, because that was his friend.
Right.
And if it only took him 6 weeks to ride out there, that's what they said in the movie. All the way from, I'm guessing, Ireland. That's the only thing I could guess.
I mean, he did mention that he had fought for many flags throughout his years. And I'm wondering if he was like, okay, I'll just try every accent.
Yeah,
I'm just going to use every accent, and I'm going to meld them all together, and then I end up talking like this. Stop it, Matt Damon.
It was absolutely horrible.
It was really distracting.
Yeah.
I first thought, Matt Damon, you're slumming in this movie. Maybe he's just trying to hide it. Maybe he's going to, he should have gone with a pseudonym then and be like, no, I'm Fat Damon, Matt Damon's twin brother. Because you don't want credit for this, what happened in this movie. So there's there's some interesting things in this movie, though, I thought, though.
Okay.
I thought that the use, like the costumes of the Chinese warriors was kind of cool. Like the use of color and the way the armor looked was kind of interesting.
What I didn't like, I thought it would be interesting if the backdrop was also as interesting, but the backdrop was all felt more historically accurate, where the costumes looked like plastic pieces you would find in your toy store. And yeah, it was very beautiful, but it didn't match the rest of the background. So for me, these elaborate plastic costumes felt pretty off of the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
I wanted to like this movie more visually, but I think it reminded me a lot of World of Warcraft, where there was some things that they were trying too hard to achieve where it didn't mesh up with everything else you're showing us. So it just was distracting, along with the accent, along with the visuals. I wanted some better fight scenes. I really didn't get that.
I liked some of the battle strategies the first time that these monsters show up and you see how these people, the ways that they use the archers and the girls with the pikes that flying down.
Cool.
Like, that's kind of interesting, the way you use your army and the different colors associated with each group that does it. Thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And Matt Damon and his partner, you can tell these guys have been together for a long time. You can tell they have interesting stories. They've had crazy adventures. They hint at it.
Yeah.
I'd rather just see that. Tell me some of your adventures, because this one, it didn't work.
I felt like how they had to put the story in order to explain how Matt Damon got to the wall was distracting to the movie.
Yeah.
I really thought that should have been thrown out.
They were literally bullfighting some of these monsters, like Toro, and then a monster's like, this lizard man's like, I'm coming at you. Why would he do that? Why, when you pull out a red cape, would this mythical lizard monster turn into a bull and come running at you?
I think you should write. I really do. Because I think if they just took out all the seriousness, because they tried attempting humor at times, but it was all really corny, falling flat.
Yeah.
I've kind of heard this done before type humor. If they just went, you know what, no one can take this movie seriously anyways, let's go nuts with it. Let's bring out the Toro flag. Let's make some really off-the-wall jokes. Just be fun.
Then that accent makes sense.
Then the accent would make sense. I would enjoy listening to Matt Damon going through all the nationalities he thinks he can do.
It was really weird. I was fighting sleep throughout this movie. I mean, boredom was my great wall, and I was having trouble with it. I couldn't deal with where this was going. It lost me. I really, I did not care for this movie. I like I said, I liked some of the concepts that they had for the Chinese on the wall, but then it just became, let's watch Matt Damon, and Willem Dafoe's in here doing nothing.
Yeah.
Why did you need to get Willem Dafoe for this role? Because he was just background fodder?
Yeah.
Is it just another white guy in China?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That he just couldn't go, even though he had enough TNT to blow things up. It was just weird. It was a odd,
what did you give
movie.
The Great Wall?
I gave it a 1.5. The score that I gave it was mainly just for some of the color, and you're right, some of the interesting ideas with the hoop ladies who went down and fought on the wall like it was ground. That was a cool idea, but overall, I thought this movie was just terrible.
Yeah, I agree. I gave it 1.5 for kind of those similar reasons. This is, to me, it's not the Great Wall, it's the disappointing wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, don't go see it. You don't waste your time with this.
Don't waste your time.
Yeah, no good. What do we have next, sir?
All right, we have Gore
Verbinski.
He is doing a movie called Cure for Wellness. We have Dane DeHaan, who plays Lockhart. He is this ambitious young person at this corporate building, and there's going to be a huge merger. The problem is the original CEO, Penbrook, he went missing. He went off to Switzerland to go to kind of a spa, a retreat, a
wellness center.
It's a wellness center. And he needs to bring him back ASAP. Otherwise, this deal is not going to go through. So Lockhart goes out there, and at this point, it reminds me of a Frankenstein movie. They have a lot of gorgeous backgrounds and the mountains and all this stuff goes on. You have this whole, the villagers don't mess with asylum people don't mess with the villagers thing. It piques my interest. It is an interesting looking film. Definitely by the trailers, you can tell it's a very artistic quality. So Dane, he is in this asylum, and he ends up becoming a patient. He keeps on claiming he's not a patient. He got in a car accident, broken leg, and there's a lot of mysteries that he's starting to find about this place. People don't leave the asylum. People are happy.
Why would anyone want to leave?
No one would want to leave. It is absolutely, it's shot beautifully.
Yeah.
Problem I have with this movie is about the third act. I believe everything fell apart. Everything that you enjoyed about the movie, the look, the tension, the mystery, kind of, it feels like to me like the writer and director just decided that they needed to wrap this up, and they didn't know how. They had some great...
So they Verbinski'd it, is what they did.
They had some great visual ideas, but...
This movie was really built on crazy imagery, really creative shots, these visual conflicts that they played with, not giving you, the audience, a whole lot of clues to piece together for a large chunk of the movie, which was interesting and also was a drawback for me, because for a while it felt like I was just watching instead of being engaged in the movie. I'm watching the people, because you're not giving me enough quite to put, you're just throwing images and I'm having trouble piecing them together. So I'm like, okay, so now I'm back on my heels and I'm just kind of watching it, which is interesting because it looks beautiful. But I'm starting to lose interest in the characters because it is kind of jumping all over the place. And it's building, Verbinski builds this confusion and builds this drama through these haunting images. But then I'm going, okay, but is this going to build to anything?
Yeah.
And as you said, it kind of didn't, because at the third act, it felt like he panicked.
Yeah.
And this movie became something completely different. The tone of it completely changed in the third act.
Yeah.
He had to go back to his Pirates of the Caribbean visuals, and it became just an unearned ending to this movie that felt frantic and like a completely different film.
I think he was kind of trying to still channel like old Universal movies, even at the end, but the editing was absolutely terrible also.
Yeah.
There was a lot of situations where they would concentrate on a scene to purposely make you feel uncomfortable, but they would not explain why that scene was there or how he got from point A to point B after that scene. There's an extremely intense dental scene, which I'll probably remember forever. And I guess there was a huge happening after the part where you're like, I can't stand it anymore, to the point where he's on a getaway. It's like, well, what happened in between?
Well, and that's one of the things with this, is that Gore Verbinski really played up nightmare scenarios, like scenarios that you have in your nightmares: your teeth falling out, drowning, unnecessary medical procedures, claustrophobia, snakes, eels, that kind of thing. A lot of things that are really just nightmare scenarios for you, and it's interesting to do, but like you say, it feels kind of unconnected to a lot of things. It just feels like, doesn't that make you uncomfortable?
Exactly.
But it really doesn't tie into anything, and it started to feel to me like it was overly long kind of gibberish being thrown into this movie. This 2.5-hour runtime felt a lot longer to me than it was.
It actually probably would have been a lot longer, and that's why the editing felt so tore up.
I think you're absolutely right.
The producers also came in and said, hey guys, I know you two are having a lot of fun writing this thing, but we only got 5 months to shoot. We got this castle closed down.
Yeah.
You got to get this stuff a little tight. And at the end, they were just,
because it spent
and wrote it off.
2 hours basically reveling in its pace and its oddity, and almost wallowing in this, and you're just kind of sitting there, and it's like, we got 30 minutes left, guys. Let's go, chop, chop, chop. And it was kind of my same issue that I had with Passengers last year.
Yeah.
Was it was one movie, and then with 30 minutes left, like, let's change the pace and change the tone, and let's make it something different. And it's like, you had me kind of along with you. It had me checking my watch.
Yeah.
I don't even wear a watch, but I'm looking for it because I'm like, where are we going with this?
And really,
you have a girl in there, Mia Goth, playing this girl, Hannah. Her storyline is kind of thrown into this mix, and it's kind of meshed in. But at the end of the movie, it totally unearned this. I'm watching a child get raped at the end of this movie. You have not you have not earned that ending to a movie.
Yeah.
Like it just became a whole.
Well, even yeah, I don't want to give away the entire ending, but the last 10 minutes really was mouth hanging open. What are you doing? I mean, really. I wish I could tell you more about it, but really, the ending was just like, really.
Yeah. I really struggled with this movie because I was enjoying parts of it, and I was kind of liking where it was going.
Yeah.
And then it felt just too long, and then the pace changed, and the movie became completely different. And this movie for me, has zero rewatchability to it, kind of zero importance to me.
Yeah.
Where an hour in, I thought, this could be something. There might be something with this. And it just felt like it was more than Gore Verbinski was capable of handling. He is trying desperately to cleanse his name from the Lone Ranger of a couple of years ago.
Trying to get back to the ring.
Yeah, and this, I know this is kind of the opposite end of the Lone Ranger, but I think it was another miss for me.
I couldn't finish Lone Ranger.
I barely finished this. It felt like a 4.5-hour movie to me.
It was long.
I mean, I gave it 2 stars.
Yeah.
I wish I could have given it more, but I really struggled with it.
I was on the other half. I gave it a 3 stars. I did like the visual. I thought this was an extremely interesting movie all the way up into the 3rd act, and that's when it fell apart. I'd probably watch this again just so I could see if I could kind of make sense of it. I know we've already talked about this with Batman and Suicide Squad. Maybe they will have an unedited,
a longer version.
A longer
no
version,
way.
Which would explain.
I
a
am
little
not
bit
watching
for
the 4-hour version of A Cure for Wellness.
It really was a beautiful movie. It just, yeah.
Yeah, but
yeah.
No thanks. All right, the last movie we have on the marquee this week is a movie from director Richie Keene, and the movie is Fist Fight. We have Charlie Day, stars as Andy Campbell. He is a teacher at a school. It is the last day of school, and it's a little rough. Chaos reigns supreme because it's senior prank day, and it's getting out of control. Ice Cube is Mr. Strickland, the teacher that everyone in the school fears. Teachers and students alike fear Mr. Strickland. And everyone that you have teachers are being laid off. Cuts are coming. Everyone is high stress. The students are pranking everyone. And through a series of misunderstandings, Ice Cube gets pissed off because that's what Ice Cube does. And he challenges Charlie Day to a fight. We got ourselves a little hashtag teacher fight going on. And that's the movie, is Charlie Day trying to get out of the fight. Ice Cube saying, I'm going to fight you. And you could probably guess where most of this movie is going from watching the trailer.
Yeah.
They don't really break a lot of new ground in the genre.
No.
They fill out the cast with a lot of fun people. You have Tracy Morgan as the gym teacher, Christina Hendricks as the French teacher who wants to do some killing. Jillian Bell, who is an insane guidance counselor. I kind of like her a lot. Dean Norris as the principal. Kumail Nanjiani as the school security guard. And it's basically just building to the end of, let's have the fist fight.
Yep.
What did you think of Fist Fight? I want to know.
Really, I enjoyed it. I thought that there was enough variety in there. I liked a lot of these comedians that are in this movie. It's not really groundbreaking, and really how this movie goes. I've seen a lot of these kind of movies, especially in the 80s and stuff like that. I thought it was funny. The person I went with thought it was one of the worst movies she's seen.
Really?
Yeah. But I generally laughed at a lot of these jokes that were coming out. They're not, it's not going to get any awards or anything like that, but I had fun. It was fast-paced. There was a little bit of a lull, I think, right before the fight happened. I wanted the fight to just kind of be over with at that point. But Charlie Day, he's great.
I like Charlie Day quite a bit.
He plays an angry guy extremely well. I like that security guard. You know,
Kumail,
he's funny.
Yeah, there was. I think they were smart to fill out the cast with some really good comedic actors.
The French teacher I thought was probably added. It should have been removed. She was not very good in her role.
She didn't add anything to it.
No, and it felt.
I like Christina Hendricks too, but
Yeah.
it just felt like you're from a different movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Ice Cube challenged a fight. We all know snitches get stitches.
Yeah.
And he reminds you of that.
Yeah.
I like Ice Cube. He kind of plays off his mystique that he had from 20 years ago before he was making daddy daycare movies and such.
Yeah.
He's playing off the mystique of the Ice Cube that made Predator the album and all that, and he still has a tough guy snarl. It kind of works.
They even made a reference to,
they made a couple, I like that. I like Charlie Day. He's playing the same character he always does, the guy who's kind of frenetic and frantic.
Yeah.
And that was interesting. The director, Richie Keene, it's interesting because all he directs is TV. This is his first movie. Mm-hmm. He's got into this because he did some episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But he does a lot of comedic TV, Goldberg such. This felt like really easy intro into it was basically a long episode of something.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I remember liking these movies. Let's just make another one of those again.
When watching this trailer, you get exactly what you expect.
There's no surprises.
One's acting out of their box. Yeah. There is no twist in this movie. This is not an M. Night movie at all. No. It is fun. If you look at this trailer and you're like, oh, I really don't like Charlie Day, don't go see this. Yeah. Really.
Yeah. What did you give this film?
I gave it a 3. I enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
Definitely not groundbreaking. I had fun though.
All right. I give it a 2.5. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I can definitely one side of me is like, this movie was pretty bad. The other side of me is like, it was all right.
Yeah.
So that gets you a 2.5.
Right in the middle.
I mean, am I going to be referencing this film 6 months from now? Probably not.
Probably not. No.
Probably not.
But
But you know what? There's a film that I am referencing 30 years later. 30 years later, 1987.
It's crazy.
Let's talk about our movie throwback. What do you got for us?
We've been talking about this throwback for a couple of months.
Yeah.
We already knew we were going to do this. We got 3 O'Clock High,
yes,
1987. Sir. We have Phil Yano. He directs this movie at a pretty young age. And we have Casey Sesmesco.
Sure.
Playing Jerry Mitchell.
Jerry Mitchell.
He is
there he is.
Young high school kid, which actually he's 25.
Yeah.
Fun fact, older than the director at the point.
That's awesome.
But he is like your typical nerd. Mm-hmm. They didn't go into the point of over-stereotyping it like they did in 1980s.
But he runs the school store.
Exactly.
That's how
you do. He runs the school store. He's doing a paper on the new kid that's coming in that's been rumored to just beat people up because he is a touch freak. He doesn't like being touched, and that will get you he'll break your arm.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Buddy Revell.
Of course, he makes a mistake and decides to touch his arm in the worst places in the urinals.
Yeah.
And
you don't do that. That'll get you punched from anyone.
That will get. So, Buddy Revell, played by Richard Tyson, he tells him he has till 3 o'clock, and that's when he's going to beat him up. So, just like a fist fight, Jerry Mitchell, he spends this entire movie trying to get out of this.
Worming his way out.
How is he going to do this? And of course, just like in Fist Fight, there is a battle at the end.
So good.
I really like seeing, we have Mr. Rice played by Jeffrey Tambor.
Yes.
To see him as a young guy
Jeffrey Tambor
was
is great.
Really interesting. Annie Ryans, who plays Franny Perkins, who is your typical hot but not popular 80s
right, because every school had one of them.
Yep. Wearing the long trench coat. She's the one who helps Casey out every once in a while, or tries to help him out using her spirit guides. It was a crazy character.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this movie. I seen this a long time ago on cable television, and I rewatched it recently, and this was a good movie. I'm surprised people don't bring this up more often.
I really dig this movie. I'm a sucker for any 1980s high school movie, high school comedies. I'm in.
But this one, they didn't really dive into the stereotypes that a lot of the 80s movies did. Usually, if you watch an 80s movie and you're thinking of a nerd, he has to have the horn-rimmed glasses,
have the tape in the
middle, the pocket protector, everything that Revenge of the Nerds has made popular.
I really liked the character of Jerry Mitchell a lot because he wasn't like an outcast in the school because he was a nerd. Like, people knew him. So he's running around talking to people like, you got to help me out. You got to pay. What do I have to pay you to fight for me? And just the way he's trying to do anything he can. His sisters try to help him. His girls try to help him. And Buddy Revell.
campus,
Yeah,
can't do it.
Buddy Revell is a scary dude.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, he's got that psychopathic look. And Richard Tyson was great. And unfortunately, he never really went on to become a star. He would kind of just be the random tough guy. You know, the Hitman #3. In various action movies.
He still works like tons.
Oh,
if you look at his career,
yeah, he still gets it done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was convinced that he was going to go on and do something. And yeah, I mean, it's great. And the fact that he's not afraid to punch out anyone. The teachers?
Yeah.
I mean,
Everyone.
no, it doesn't matter. You're going to get a right cross to the face. It's shot great. I love this movie quite a bit. It's really rewatchable.
I think it's like one of those hidden gems. People
Absolutely.
really need to watch this movie.
Absolutely. 3 O'Clock High. Go check it out.
Check it out.
Why not? Let's take a look ahead at 3 movies that are going to be coming out the weekend of February 3rd. Yeah. The first one we have is Before I Fall. Zoe Deutsch is going to live the life of Groundhog Day, basically.
Yeah.
About to die. She's going to relive that day over and over again.
That looks interesting.
We'll see. Next up, we have The Shack. Sam Worthington loses his child and then is taunted from beyond that he should go to the shack. There might be something pertaining to his daughter there.
I thought it had to do with basketball myself.
You did? You thought? We'll see. Who knows? I don't know what's going. I don't know what's in the shack.
I have no idea.
We'll see.
I know he does odor eater commercials or something like
Sure.
that. Yeah.
Like Gold Bond commercials and such. Yeah. Shack. Come on, man. And last but not least, that weekend we have the final, maybe, incarnation of Wolverine in Logan, the Old Man Logan story being told.
I'm a huge fan. You've read the Old Man Logan comic, yeah?
I have, and I think people need to do a little educating of themselves before this because I think people are going to be confused about the storyline of this. That it's not in direct line with the Wolverine stories that we know. It's a parallel universe.
I have a feeling they're going to not do the comic book. I mean,
We'll
obviously, you'd have to see the Hulk.
We'll
I
see.
haven't seen the Hulk.
Now, I am very excited. I was very excited by the first trailer I saw for this. Over the weekend, saw another trailer that showed me basically the entire movie. Don't need that a week out, 2 weeks out. But I am quite hesitant because I've been burned many times by good X-Men / Wolverine trailers and terrible movies.
There really isn't a Wolverine movie that
hasn't been a good one yet.
No,
Not a successful one for me.
I did like the first one, the Origins.
Oh, I
but
hated
am
the
like
first
the
one.
only guy.
Oh, I just watched The Wolverine the other day, and I tolerated that.
I hate that movie.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's slow.
It's not been a great run for
No.
Wolverine, and this is supposedly Hugh Jackman's last run at it. But we'll be talking about that movie a little more in a couple weeks. Let's of course we have to thank our sponsor Marcus Theaters, where we will be watching Logan on February 3rd. Marcus Theaters, the Palace here in Sun Prairie. Thank you for sponsoring the show. We do appreciate it. If you want to go see some movies, you have no finer place to go sit in one of their dream loungers. If you want to find more from us, you can always find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter at Real Reviews TV. We'll get you where you need to go. You can find past episodes from us on YouTube. Search Real Reviews KSUN, KSUN. Yeah, we'll get you a bunch of previous episodes, or go to sunprairiemediacenter.com. We have a bunch of shows on demand there, like 148 episodes.
We have a lot. You are counting.
When I put them up, I see the number. So yeah, I can't help but see it.
I mean, 148 just does not sound like a random thing you run
I don't
into.
think it is. So go check out all that stuff. Next week, we're going to be talking to you about Rock Dog.
Oh, boy.
And what's the other one we got? Get Out.
Get Out. Good Out. That actually looks extremely interesting.
Get out of here. All right. But until next week, my name is Jameson.
I'm Mike Roth.
Thanks for watching.